Welcome to the Voice of Reason Sports Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the show, leave a comment, and click that like button. All right, welcome back to the Voice of Reason Sports Podcast. This is a marvelous one, back at it again with Dell. What's good, man? How you feeling?
Yo. Good, man. You know, another victory. You know what I'm saying? For the boys, stars up.
Yeah. It must be nice.
Absolutely.
I mean, when you lose to your rival, the Falcons, and I picked the Falcons. I knew they were going to win this game because the Falcons are deep running the ball, right? Desmond Ritter's a young quarterback. So I get the logic of the Falcons. Like everybody says, Desmond Ritter, he's trash, he's not good, he's not good. I'm like, this is the guy's second year. He's probably in his maybe 12th game, NFL game. You gotta get the guy some time to grow. So I'm not too harsh on him. Like, yeah, he made some bad decisions. He threw some bad balls. And I mean, the Saints defense, man, they're doing everything they can to keep us in games. It's ridiculous. Our turnover margins, we are dominating turnover wise. We get more turnovers than our opponents, and we're still losing games. It's insane. I don't know how to explain it. Tyrann Mathieu had 2 interceptions. Big ups to him. He had a great game. Picked off Desmond Ridder twice to keep us in the game. Gave us many opportunities to take the lead in this game, and we couldn't close the deal. Why? We had 8 possessions in the red zone, and we got a quarterback that is known for not getting the ball in the end zone when he's in the red zone. This has followed Derek Carr since he was with the Raiders. It is no surprise. I don't know. I don't understand it. Did they not look at the history of this guy? Did they not pull the data and say, hey, this guy's been in the league 9 seasons and he hadn't been very good? Matter of fact, he was in the division before Patrick Mahomes, before Justin Herbert. He didn't dominate that division. He struggled then against Alex Smith. Really? So, it's no surprise to me. I can come on.
Didn't Taysom Hill also had a fumble in that game?
He did have a fumble. They started to use the guy totally as a running back now.
Yeah.
This guy played quarterback in high school, college. He get to the pros, and now they want to convert him into a wildcat running back. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And literally won't let him pass the ball, even though, check this out, in the last 32 possessions, the Saints have scored 3 touchdowns in the last 32 possessions. Wow. Going back to the
32 possessions, they had the ball.
The last 32 possessions, 3 touchdowns. And guess what? Those 3 touchdowns weren't thrown by Derek Carr. 2 of them were by Jameis Winston in the Vikings game. When Derek Carr got hurt, he came in and he was just launching like D. Riles calls them, hell with it touchdown passes. He could throw a Hail Mary and he could throw a hell with it, where he just close his eyes and just throw it up. And he had 2 of them against the Vikings. And then the other one came with Taysom Hill throwing a touchdown, the one few times that they've let him throw the ball. So and then the truth of the matter is that we can't do anything about Derek Carr. He's got a $150 million contract. $60 million is guaranteed. And so he's pretty much locked in for the next 2 years. And
I would imagine you got him for at least
2 years. Yeah.
Of that contract.
Yeah. I think Dennis Allen is basically saying that, he'd rather just get fired than to bench Derek Carr. He's going to do it. I mean, he lost with him in Oakland, and he's now losing with him with the Saints. So in New Orleans.
But once you price them in, you kind of made your bed and you kind of got to lay it in. Once you decide you're going to give a guy that much money, it's just like when the Cowboys decided to give Dak that money. My issue was if we give him this contract, we with him for the next like 4 or 5 years.
Right.
You know what I mean? The way it's structured, the way it was. If we give him this, we said for the next 4 years at least, we're going to be rolling with him.
Right.
Right. And that was my issue. That was one of my main issues that I wasn't sure about. But I really want to deal with him for another 4 years.
But I can live with that. I can live with that. Like if we had Dak has shown to have that it factor. You know what I mean? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, okay. No, he hasn't taken you to the Super Bowl. I don't even think he's taking y'all to the NFC Championship game.
No.
But but he beats all the bad teams. When the NFC East was bad, right? You owned that division,
Yep.
right? When the AFC East was bad, Tom Brady owned that division. To me, you beat the bad teams. Well, hell, you halfway there. That's playoffs, baby. Now
That
you
is
may
true.
not
That
you
is
can't
true.
beat the good teams. Okay, well, all right, we've got to work on that, but beat the bad teams. Beat the
Yep.
Falcons. You know what I mean? Beat the Bucks. Derek Carr can't beat them. Well, what are we doing? We struggled against the Bears. What are we doing, Saints fans?
Yeah.
We had 8 possessions in the red zone. Derek Carr threw a pick 6.
Yeah.
He stared the receiver down the whole way, took it back to the house. Taysom Hill fumble. They keep using the dude like a damn running back. And Blake Grupe kicked 5 field goals, missing 1. He could be injured. He had a groin injury, so the Saints have brought in some other kickers. So looks like that's going to change. But I feel what you're saying, but I think you got a good quarterback. And picture this. I remember when Dak Prescott was drafted. He came out of Mississippi State. At one point, Mississippi State was the #1 team in the country. But, of course, they had a big loss, probably to Alabama or something like that. And
He almost beat him.
he almost beat him.
Mm-hmm.
But the guy showed a lot of ability. And, I don't, we talked about this last show, right? Who are these scouts that scouting these players? Who is the scout that looked at Dak Prescott at Mississippi State? You know what? He's a tight end. Who was that guy? Who was that guy? And looked at Jordan Love and said, next Brett Favre. Who was that guy? You know what I mean? I just don't understand what these guys be thinking. Just because the guy is big and strong and can run a little bit, that's not quarterback like.
Yeah. It's this prototypical thing that they have in their head that a quarterback must be this and this, this.
Right.
230 pounds.
Right.
This is the prototypical quarterback that most people want.
Right. I don't know. I want my quarterback to be athletic. I want my quarterback to be strong. I want him to be a football player. I want him to compete.
Quarterback has to be athletic. But I will say this. I did say that I have 2 requirements. My quarterback, I don't care what his stature is. He has to at least be able to throw for 4,000 yards, and he has to at least have 30 touchdowns in the season. Damn. If he can do that, then we can work with him. You know what I'm saying? He got to show that he can do those 2 things. If he can do those 2 things, I can work with him because he showed he could get around. He showed he ain't going to,
He got to do that every season?
Not every season, but he got to show me he could at least do it once.
Oh, okay. He can carry the team if need be. Right. I got you.
30 touchdowns and 4,000 yards. And Dak did that, one season.
Yeah. I would be more. I would be more inclined to say my quarterback has to have the ability to throw for 400 yards in a game. I wouldn't put it on the season because if my team is good and my defense is good, well, hell, I don't want my quarterback working that hard. I want you, right. Hey, just hand the ball off to Alvin Kamara. Take your time. Let's save this for the big games or the playoffs or something like that.
Right. Well, the 4,030 is not so much that I want the team to lean on the quarterback,
right?
As much as when we need him, can we ride his back? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He carries us on his back when we need him, and that 4,030 kind of shows me that quarterback can do that when he needs to do it.
Right. Right. No, I hear you because I mean my biggest issue is look at Sam Howell. Sam Howell leads the NFL in passing.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? but it's not a good thing. He leads the league in passing because his team is bad.
Yeah,
right?
He probably leads the league in pass attempts too.
Yeah, it's empty calorie yards. I've seen that before. I've seen it with Drew Brees. Not that Drew Brees was bad. It was our defense was bad. And Drew Brees was always playing catch up. And these were the seasons where he was throwing for 5,000 yards back to back. And it was like, well, that ain't good. That means he's working hard. I mean, they work the dude so hard. I don't know if you read the reports, but they say he plays football with his kids or baseball with his kids, and he has to throw with his left hand. His right arm, it's totally gone. He can't even lift it up above his shoulder.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hell, the Saints worked the hell out of him, for 16 years. The guy had to throw for 5,000 yards a season. So, man, it's
Wow.
crazy. But yeah, man, I mean, a big win for you guys.
Yeah, man. We did the thing. I said I told you we was going to win, beat them by like 20, at least 20 points.
Right.
It wasn't the biggest thing, but um, yeah. But what can I say? Dak did have a good game, and I don't want to keep like talking down on my man when he does good like this. I mean, this is what I like to see. I want to see 330 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Right.
And he actually had 5 touchdowns, I think, because he had a rushing touchdown, I believe, in that game too. So I want him to do this, but I need him to do this in the big games.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I need to see this type of thing in the big games. And I'll give him 1 for 1. He had that type of game in Philly, but he did not have that type of game in San Francisco.
But let me ask you this. I mean, the fact that like this year, you guys are beating down on the bad teams, like you're supposed to.
Wow.
Like, you beat the Commanders 45-10, and they literally quit. Like, there was still plenty of time in this game, and it looks like Ron Rivera's like, okay, Sam, just hand the ball off, because every time you throw it, it's a pick six. And for the last 2 minutes of the game, they were just handing the ball off to run out.
And hey, even with that, he still threw the ball 44 times.
Yeah, right. But I mean, because that last interception, right? What's your guy's name that had he broke the record for pick six?
Ron Bland.
Yeah. What was it? 7 pick sixes in the season?
That was his 5th pick six for a record in the season.
Yes, that's big time. That's big time. But a lot of credit got to go to your defensive line, and they set up. They put a lot of pressure on the quarterback to set those things up. But the point I was trying to make was that you're beating the bad teams, which to me is important. That's what you're supposed to do. Beat those bad teams. I think when it comes to the good teams, that falls on coaching. Because if you're beating down on the bad teams, that means you got the talent on your roster to win.
Right.
But when you meet good teams that have just as much talent, then that's when it falls on the coach. With their strategic ability to come up with things to help your team win games, that's when it falls on them. And so that's what I'm asking you. Is it your coaching that's failing you when you play, top-notch teams, the Eagles, I'm trying to think of some of the 49ers, the teams you lost to.
Yeah. Those are only 2, like, quote-unquote top-notch teams that we played.
And the Cardinals.
That is a major factor in it. I mean, I wasn't too gung-ho about the McCarthy signing. I just wasn't. I didn't like him the way he ended off in Green Bay.
Right.
He had 2 sub-7 win seasons. His last season, I think he ended up 4-12.
Right.
And then to make it so bad, soon as he leaves, Green Bay has 3 back-to-back 13 win seasons.
Right.
Right as he leaves. So it's like addition by subtraction. So why would I want that guy at that point?
Right.
Believe Jerry Jones to hire him because he put out some kind of promo video stating that he's now learned analytics, because that was his big thing that was the big thing about Mike McCarthy. He doesn't know analytics, So he go on this big promo tour about how he brought in coaches and all this stuff to teach him analytics. And now he knows analytics. I'm like, get out of here,
man. Get out of here. You don't believe in it. Yeah.
So his coaching decisions, people like using these bad games who are for McCarthy to say, hey, look, see, our offense is better without Kellen Moore, who's now in San Diego, and I'm like, okay, we are playing the worst defenses in the league when that happens, though. Can we see this against a good defense?
Right.
Against somebody who's considered to have a good defense. Even Philadelphia ranks 28th in passing.
Yeah, right. They're not that strong defensively.
They're not that strong defensively, and that's the only good game that Dak has had against a over 500 team. So it's like, okay, can you show me this in the big bumpers, in the big time, when it's time, where all the chips are on the table,
right?
And pushed in the middle. Can you win? Can you explode? Can you do all these big numbers?
The door is closing. On it. He got to put up a shut up now, dude. Right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's time. You're going to run into these teams again.
Mm-hmm.
You need to leave a message with them. I mean, I guess we kind of showed Philly we could beat you, but at the end of the day, we didn't. You know that's
Right.
what Buffalo just showed them. Yeah, we could beat you, but we, at the end of the day, we didn't. You know,
Yeah.
you go kick a 59-yard field goal in a pouring down rain and cold. It's just like, man, they're coming together at the right time, even though they're giving up a lot of yards on defense.
But they're
Even
competing.
though Jalen Hurts is not looking great
Right.
quarterback, you know, he's not looking. He's
But,
getting the job done, and I'm telling you, they didn't like completely overdo it. Just the last game with the Bills, as far as Philly, but that tush push, man.
yeah.
I
They
want to
got
see what they are without that tush push when they ban
right.
that.
They
I want
got
to see what they can do.
right. They got to outlaw that. They got that's illegal, man. That's just
Dog. Every
yeah.
time it's 2 yards to go, they
Yeah.
got it.
They got
getting
it. Yeah. And
Don't let them
what's
get
annoying about it is like you literally got guys behind him pushing him forward.
push it up. Yes.
It's just like, you know, that at one time that was a rule. You couldn't push or
Absolutely.
I don't remember how it was stated, but you couldn't move someone in forward.
You cannot assist a player
Assist.
in going forward. So you couldn't carry him, because what people were doing was they'll be in front of the guy and they were pulling them.
Right. Right.
And the other people behind him was pushing.
Right.
It's like, you know, both of them pushing the guy and going forward. He
Right.
would automatically go forward. So they outlawed it where you could not assist
Right.
a ball carrier move forward.
Right. Well, they should bring that back.
Whether you push him, pull him, or carry him, you couldn't move him forward.
You couldn't move him. And you
But
remember
they outlawed that rule in 2017.
Is that right? Because I remember
Yes.
like I remember like there were times when a running back will be at the goal line and have an opportunity to score, and the defense kind of stands them up, and then a big offensive lineman comes behind and pushes them in, and the referee will stop it right there. You can't assist. I think it was a penalty, right? It was literally a penalty.
Yeah, it was a penalty. You a penalty to assist the guy moving forward.
Yeah.
You know, and just think about all the little petty penalties they got. You
Mm-hmm.
can't jump over a guy. They won't let you leapfrog. You
Right.
know? You can't leapfrog, but you could have two people behind you pushing. Like you got three linemen in front of you,
grabbing you by your ass and pushing you forward.
Pushing. You know what I'm saying? And that's literally 6 people in the middle of the line pushing forward.
But see, my concern.
You don't have 6 linemen. You can't have 6 linemen right there.
But my concern is not so much on the competitive end of it, but on the player safety side of it. Because I mean, you're basically talking about a rugby scrum, where everybody just diving and launching themselves at each other. I thought they wanted to get that out of the league, launching at each other head first, because that's what they're doing.
Well, this is the only thing with that. It's low impact. It's very low impact.
Why is it low impact?
You can't get a running start. There's no running start.
You're still colliding heads. Like
you're colliding heads, but you're only like an inch away from each other before the ball snap. Because you know everybody huddles around that line right there.
Yeah.
And then you go.
The defensive linemen are jumping straight to the ground. The offensive linemen are jumping right on them. It's a collision. I don't know. It just seems like a really bad injury waiting to happen. You got one guy jumping over the top to grab the quarterback.
Yep.
It just seems crazy.
But the proof is in the pudding, though. They ran it almost 60 times. They have not had one major injury.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I guess that's hard to get rid of it. I can't make that argument.
Yeah, if you got to show it. You got to show the people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. All right, man. Let's wrap this thing up. Thanks for joining us again. We do this thing every week. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.